Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to decode the incredible 4-decade strategic evolution of the KONKA Group. If you think you know this brand just from passing by it in the electronics aisle, well, get ready. The real story behind it is an absolute masterclass in industrial transformation.
So, let's dive right into this by picturing a specific high-spec smart TV sitting right now in a living room in New Zealand. It's got 4K resolution, JBL audio, the whole Google TV shebang. But to really understand how it got there at such an aggressive price point, we've got to zoom way out. Like, how does a modest factory that originally made cassette recorders transform into a global machine capable of challenging the world's most entrenched legacy tech giants?
To truly grasp this transition, we've structured our explainer into 6 parts: the modern value challenger, origins of a pioneer, the strategic business pivot, global expansion and scale, localized domination in New Zealand, and the future of tech.
Section 1. The Modern Value Challenger.
We're kicking off our analysis by looking at the modern consumer landscape, where budgeteer disruption is completely reshaping our expectations of what a home entertainment system should actually cost. You know, you've probably seen the familiar KONKA logo in the store, and a lot of consumers simply view this brand as a maker of aggressively priced TVs. They buy the TV, plug it in, and are completely unaware of the absolute industrial behemoth operating behind the scenes to make that hardware possible.
And here's why that matters to your wallet. When you buy a KONKA TV today featuring an advanced Google TV operating system, Dolby audio processing, and JBL soundbars, you're buying from a value challenger. They aggressively price their units anywhere from 15% to 40% below Tier 1 legacy giants like Samsung and Sony. But here's the real secret. They aren't just selling you a cheap screen. They're using that TV as a gateway to introduce you to their wider technological ecosystem.
Section 2. Origins of a Pioneer.
Their rapid industrialization is such a fascinating story. Back on May 21, 1980, KONKA was established as China's very first Sino-foreign electronics joint venture, brought to life just as the country was reforming and opening up. They started out making simple cassette recorders, which, let's be honest, was basically the pinnacle of high-tech back then. But just 4 years later, in 1984, they commissioned their first complete color TV assembly line. That really marked the entry of made-in-China tech into the global market. By 1992, they had secured a massive IPO on the Shenzhen Stock Exchange, which gave them the crucial capital to kick off their global expansion by 1995.
Section 3. The Strategic Business Pivot.
Now here's the massive structural plot twist of the entire KONKA story. They didn't just stay a TV manufacturer. Over the ensuing decades, they executed a profound strategic pivot, diversifying way beyond just consumer electronics. They restructured into 4 massive pillars. Yes, they still have consumer electronics, so they're making TVs, white goods, and phones, but they also expanded into operating entire industrial parks. They became an internet and supply chain service provider focusing on platform as a service, or PaaS, and they established a highly robust financial investment arm. This structural evolution reveals what we can call their Trojan Horse strategy. When you understand this, it becomes perfectly clear how they can afford to sell you a highly spec TV for 30% less than the competition. Their consumer goods are actually a brilliant strategic gateway. It's a way to establish a massive global footprint that ultimately supports their highly profitable ventures in internet services, supply chain management, and industrial real estate. It's kind of genius, right?
Section 4. Global Expansion and Scale.
Of course, to fuel those 4 diverse business groups, KONKA required unparalleled manufacturing power. 17 million. That is KONKA's annual production capacity for televisions alone. It is an astronomical volume, supported by massive, globally integrated smart factories. Take their high-definition production base in Anhui, for example, which happens to be the largest in the Yangtze River Delta. When you manufacture 17 million units a year, your economies of scale allow you to absolutely crush the competition on component pricing.
And this sheer scale lets them cover more than 110 countries and regions worldwide. They aren't just exporting, they are actively localizing. They established overseas branches in Europe back in 2007. They launched a joint venture in Egypt in 2019 to cleverly bypass traditional trade limitations, and they opened a North American branch in 2020.
Section 5. Localized domination in New Zealand. Let's bridge this massive global strategy back down to localized execution, using the highly competitive New Zealand market as our prime case study to see exactly how this works on the ground. In New Zealand, the TV market is fierce. You've got legacy brands at the top and ultra-budget private labels like Vion at the bottom. Well, KONKA actively targets and dominates the middle ground. They provide legacy tier features like Dolby audio processing, JBL soundbars, and premium true color enhancement panels.
This completely outpaces those ultra-budget brands, which often suffer from, washed-out screens, poor smart home integration, and highly frustrating offshore customer support.
Their secret weapon down in New Zealand is a simple yet incredibly effective three-step localization model. First, they bring in their high-value global hardware. But second, and this is the crucial part, they partner with a highly respected local distributor, the NCP Group. Third, NCP handles comprehensive local warranty and technical support right out of Penrose and Auckland and Wigram and Christchurch. This setup ensures consumers get the benefit of offshore, scale-driven pricing with the total peace of mind of having onshore, local technical support.
Section 6. The Future of Tech. As we look toward the horizon, it is abundantly clear that KONKA is no longer satisfied being just a fast follower in the consumer electronics space. Through heavy strategic investments, including the establishment of brand new 5G and artificial intelligence of things laboratories in 2020, they are actively transitioning into a leadership role. They built the world's first full-process R&D and production line for micro-LED technology. They are actively pushing into 8K resolution and seamlessly blending 5G into their smart home ecosystems. They are literally building the tech of tomorrow, today.
So, what should you take away from all this? I'll leave you with this final provocative thought. As consumer electronics increasingly become merely a gateway to broader, highly profitable tech and real estate ecosystems, which legacy brands will actually survive? Are agile, diversified value challengers like KONKA destined to completely outpace the old guard? The next time you look at a budget-friendly TV, remember the 40 years of strategic evolution and the 17 million unit global machinery standing right behind it. Thank you for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning what's behind the brand.